Hey everybody, it's Dave Dugdale, learningdslrvideo.com. So about a month ago, I did a varsity volleyball team kind of highlight reel for their banquet that they were having. And from what I hear, the parents and the students really enjoyed it. But I had all this extra footage, and I was with my sister-in-law in her kitchen, and I was like, we were both talking about volleyball because I love volleyball and she does too. And I was like, let me grab my camera and, let's talk about this in front of the camera. So we'd actually talked for maybe a half hour. I didn't use any lights or anything. I didn't have any questions in mind. We just kind of talked. And then I basically took that and edited it down to less than 3 minutes. And what I'm going to do is show you that video now. And then when I come back, I'll talk about some of the things that I've learned from using the A7S the past few months.
Okay, you got 6 players on the floor. Each has a job. You may have, 3 to 6 players on the bench. They have a job too. Because either the minute somebody gets hurt out on the court, they're called upon to play, or if a player out on the court is not having a good day, they may be called upon to play. But it's very rare that you have, unless they're an underclassman and they feel extremely fortunate to be on the bench at the varsity level, very rarely will you have, let's say, a senior willing to sit on the bench, wait her turn. They have to be the player to push the other players in practice to make the other players a better player. Kids today don't see the whole aspect of teamwork, that everybody has a role. If it's sitting on the bench waiting for your turn to go in, you better seize the moment when you get to go in and play, and not sit on the bench and whine or quit because you think, I don't want to sit on the bench the whole. Well, you may not be sitting on the bench the whole season. They may need you. A coach sometimes, depending upon the makeup of your team, has to navigate not only the drama of the girls, but what happens then is the girls go home and talk to their parents. And that's probably even more of a stressor than anything, because then you have parents who may or may not have the correct information. And then sometimes the parents jump up to the administration and start whining to the administration about something they may or may not understand is going on. And so then the administration comes down and talks to the coach about situations, or, and every parent thinks their kid is the best player on the team, trust me. Every parent has a right to think that. They've raised this little thing, and sometimes a parent has more invested than the kid does in the sport, which is very dangerous. Kind of takes the fun out of it in a way. It makes it more of a job for the kid. Basically, if you're a head coach, you are getting paid for 3 months at part-time pay, and you're working year round. And you're traveling, you're giving up your weekends, you're hearing from parents, you're hearing from the administration. It's a thankless job. I mean, it is. But you do it because you love the sport.
So I used 3 different lenses when I was shooting the girls in the gym. I was using the 7200, my Tamron 24-70, and the Takina 16-28. I primarily used the 7200, probably 95% of the time. And one of the features I've really been enjoying with the A7S is the Aps-C crop mode. It's just fantastic. I love being able to, if I need to, punch in even farther. And I was shooting all of it at 60 frames per second. It was just a wonderful thing, because when you bring it into post and you go to edit your footage compared where I came from on the Canon side of things, when I shot at 60 frames per second, all I had was 720, but now I've got 1080 material, was just fantastic. And being able to use the APS-C mode and just really punch in was just a fantastic thing. I was getting some aliasing and moire in the bricks behind the girls sometimes if I was shooting at a higher f-stop number, but for the most part it wasn't too bad. And if you're wondering, I was pointing to my monitor here. Yeah, I'm testing out a new monitor. If it looks curved to you, it actually is a curved monitor. Definitely stay subscribed. I will talk more about this later. It's a nice LG monitor. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is color. The A7S is a bit more challenging because coming from a Canon background, Canon had wonderful colors coming right out of the camera. As long as you got the custom white balance, or the white balance somewhat correct, the colors always look really good. But with the Sony, I don't know if it's across the whole entire Sony line, but the colors can be a little bit different. I bring them in and I'm looking at them and I'm like, I need to tweak this because it doesn't look as good as I was hoping it was going to look like. So just keep that in mind if you're coming from Canon and you're going into the Sony line of things like the A7S. Just keep that in mind, that colors can be a little bit challenging. In terms of battery life, all the projects I've done, that having 2 fresh batteries with the A7S has never been an issue. I've always made it, but I've always just barely made it. So I'm going to probably need to buy an additional battery or 2 for the A7S. It's not great. It's not like the Panasonic GH4 is just phenomenal in terms of battery life. Now I've been shooting with the GH4 definitely some, and every time I go to the A7S, it's just wonderful having that ability to get shallow depth of field very easily. Shooting at f2.8 on that camera is very different than shooting at f2.8 on this camera. So I really enjoy using the A7S in instances where I want a shallow depth of field, like I'm doing an interview or something like that. The A7S, just having that full frame, I've been really, really enjoying it. So over the past few months, I've gotten some emails and tweets, and people said, Dave, you got the A7S, you got the GH4, which one do you use more? I'd actually say I use the GH4 a little bit more than A7S. If the lighting conditions are good, I like having the ability of shooting 4K internally and being able to do stuff editing wise later. I punch in if I need to or scan around the image, just because I'm not that great of an editor, or maybe I'm not that great of a shooter to begin with, and I love having all those that flexibility in post later to be able to pick my shots. But the A7S, I would say I picked that camera up probably anytime I know I'm going to be shooting over ISO 800. Because this camera, I don't like going over 800. 1600, it gets noisy. Where at the A7S, I'm like, go to 6400. I have no problem. A lot of these shots that you saw at the volleyball were like 3200, sometimes 6400, when I needed to be able to track one of the players around and I needed that higher f-stop number. So one of the other things I learned, actually with this video, it's not really camera related, but there's stories everywhere. If you're going on a family vacation, or you're going somewhere for Thanksgiving, let's say, bring your camera along, bring a microphone too, and sit down with somebody like a relative and ask them a bunch of questions. Just shoot the breeze for a half hour and see what you can do in terms of making a story out of it. Shoot some B-roll, and I bet you can get some really good story with it. Because I was, really surprised, because a lot of times when I sit down and do an interview, I've got like a list of questions and I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I've done a lot of research. But this one, I was like, I don't even care. I'm not, I didn't have any list of questions or anything. I said, just let's talk and see what comes out of this. And I thought the video came out pretty well. So a couple things on the GH4 side of things. My GH4 course that I'm working really hard on, I'm really proud of it. I've got about 3 hours in the can, already edited. I got about another hour to do. So that's going to be going on sale pretty soon, hopefully in a few weeks, couple weeks maybe after Thanksgiving. And if you subscribe to my bonus emails, if you go to my website on the upper right hand corner, you'll see a red box area. Just subscribe and you'll actually get a discount if you're interested in buying that course. There's usually a discount is just for the first couple of weeks then once I put it out. So stay subscribed on that as well. Also, really interesting, if you're watching this in a timely manner, the GH4 is $200 off this week. I believe it's this week on at B&H. I'll put the link below. If you click on it, it helps me support what I do here. But the GH4, $200 off for, I believe, this whole Black Friday-ish kind of week going on thing. If you're watching this when this video first comes out, definitely try the link below and see if it's $200 off. Also testing the Panasonic Lx100, this cute little camera. I just got it about a week or two ago, so I'll be doing a kind of a complete review on this. It's a fun little camera. It has a fixed lens. It's got a micro four thirds sensor, so a similar size sensor to the GH4, and it shoots 4K, and it's around $900. So keep an eye out for that. And that's pretty much it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.